Okay, this lesson is going to introduce subject pronouns in Spanish and the verb ser. As you remember, sentences always have a subject and a verb. The verb being the action, the subject being the person or the thing that is doing the action. So a pronoun is anything that replaces something else and makes it shorter. So a subject pronoun would take the subject, such as Mr. Fox, and make it shorter. And so instead of saying Mr. Fox, you can just say he. Or instead of saying Mrs. Fox and I, you can say we. We would be the pronoun, and it's the thing doing something, and so it would be the subject pronoun. So in English, we have several subject pronouns. First of all, you have I, often referred to as first person. You also have you, which would generally be second person, and then third person would be he, she, or it. All right? All of these are singular in the sense that there is only one. You can also have plural subject pronouns. So more than one I would be we. More than one you in English would be you. More than one he or she or it would be they. Alright, paying attention to subjects is important because each subject has its own conjugation. Not quite so much in English, but in Spanish that's definitely true. You must match the verb ending with the subject. One thing that might illustrate this in English would be the verb to be, which is actually the verb ser in Spanish, and we will be looking at that a little bit later. But in English, to be would be I am, you are, he, she, or it is, we are, you are, and they are. And so you see some differences, and in Spanish this is really, really important. Subject pronouns in Spanish are slightly different than English, although the idea is the same. For I, you say yo. For you, talking to somebody who is casual, that you're casual with, you'd say tú. If you want to say he, it's él. She would be ella. That's not ella, but ella. And if you want to say you, showing respect, that'd be usted. We is nosotros. They, if you're talking about a group of guys, or at least one guy in a group, it's going to be ellos. If you're talking about a group of girls, it's going to be ellas. And then all of you, so more than one you, would be ustedes. There are a few things that are different here than from English. Number one is there is no pronoun for it. So you don't say it. Remember that everything is masculine or feminine. It's not neuter. And so there is no it. Another thing is that there are a few different yous. In English, we just have you. So talking to one person, it'd be you. Talking to more than one person, it'd be you. Talking to somebody who's a friend, it'd be you. Showing respect, it'd be just you. In Spanish, there are more than one types. There is tú. Like I said, that's just casual. There's also usted, which is showing respect. And then there is ustedes, which is all of you. There's also one other one that I didn't put in here. It's vosotros. That's a V, not a U. Vosotros. And this is used in Spain. And there's a difference between, it's similar to ustedes, but it's more casual. And so in many places you just use tú if you're showing that something's casual. And then in Mexico and a lot of other countries, if you're talking to more than one person, you just use ustedes. So if it's more than one friend, it'd be ustedes. If it's more than one teacher, it'd be ustedes. However, in Spain, more than one tú would be vosotros, and more than one usted would be ustedes. However, in most of Latin America, they don't use vosotros, and so I don't expect you to know that, although you can learn it if you would like to speak more Spain Spanish. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to say a few subjects, and I want you to write down I'm going to say it in English. You're going to write it down in Spanish, and make sure that you write this down on a piece of paper because you're going to need to turn it in for your homework tonight. All right, so the first one would be I. Take a second and write down on a piece of paper how you would say I in Spanish. Alright, so I would be yo.
Yeah.
You, if you're talking to a friend. And that would be tú. He would be él. She.
So good.
Ella. And you if you're talking to somebody with respect. And that's usted. We. Would be nosotros. They, talking about at least one guy. That would be ellos. They, if you're talking about a group of just girls. That would be ellas. And all of you. More than one you.
I think they are.
That's ustedes. One thing that I forgot to mention is if you're talking about a we for a group of just girls, that's nosotras with an A. Nosotras. Alright, so a little bit more practice. The next word would be he. And that's L. Make sure you get the accent over the E. If you don't get the accent, L like this is the. So make sure you get the accent. Alright, the next word would be we. Alright, that would be nosotros. And this is an N, not a V. Nosotros. I. They, meaning a group of guys. Alright, that's going to be ellos. You talking to a friend. That's tú. Okay, so quick review. I would be yo. You informal would be tú. He is él with an accent. She is ella. You formal would be usted. Alright, notice that if you're talking to you, showing respect, you conjugate it the exact same way as you do he or she. Okay, we is going to be nosotros. They, being a group of at least one guys, would be ellos. Group of only girls is going to be ellas. And all of you, more than one you, is going to be ustedes. So you conjugate a verb the same for they as you do for all of you. So hey, you guys, you're going to conjugate that the same as all of you. Before I go any farther, I would suggest that you take a minute to pause this video and review these. Tomorrow we're going to have a quiz on these, and you need to make sure that if I ask you how you say we in Spanish, you know that it is nosotros. So pause the video and review. Okay, so now you know how to say I, you, he, she, you showing respect, we, they for a group of girls, and all of you. So now we're going to learn how to conjugate the verb ser. So ser is, ser means to be. So to say I am, you use the verb ser. So I would be yo, and am would be soy. So yo soy would be the same as saying I am. You, showing like just casually, would be tú eres. If you're talking about he or she or you formal, is. So he is, she is, or you are, showing respect, it's going to be es. We are would be nosotros somos. They are, they being a group of girls are, and all of you are, would be son. So this is I for one. This would be I for more than one. I am, we are. You are, just one, would be tú eres. You are being more than one, it's going to be ustedes son. If you're saying you, showing respect, are, that would be usted es. More than one you, showing respect, would be ustedes son again. He is, it's going to be él es. Same as she is, would be ella es. They are, would be ellos son. They are, being a group of girls, would be ellas son. So one thing that's interesting about Spanish is that if you notice, each of these conjugations are different. I am is yo soy, you are would be tú eres, etc., etc., etc. They're all different. In English, if you want to say I eat, all of these conjugate, almost all of these conjugate the same. So I eat would be I eat, you eat, he or she eats. That's the only one that's different. It has an S. We eat, and they eat. So if you just say eat, that could be I, it could be you, it could be we, it could be they, or it could be all of you. In Spanish, however, if you say soy, the only thing that you could be referring to is yo. It couldn't be tú because you would be eres. Tú eres. And so when you say eres, that must be referring to tú. If you say son, it's a little bit more variety, but it's still either they or all of you. If you say somos, that could only be referring to we. If you say es, it's only referring to he or she or you formal. So in Spanish, you actually don't even have to say, you don't even have to use the subject pronoun. So for example, you can say soy, and that is the same as saying yo soy. You can say eres, and that's the same thing as saying tú eres. So you guys know the question, de donde eres? Alright, de donde eres would be from, where are you? So eres, that's soy, and it's conjugated for tú. So you can ask this question, de donde eres tú? However, you don't have to say tú, because we know that eres is referring to tú. If you want to say, I am a teacher, you would say, soy maestro. Or I guess you guys don't really know maestro, you'd say, soy profesor. I am a teacher. Alright? Now, you could say, yo soy, I am, but you don't have to. You can just say, soy maestro, because that is automatically saying, I am. So that's something a little bit different than what we do in English, but it's kind of cool too. It makes it so that there are fewer words that you have to say. However, there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying yo soy. That's perfectly fine. You can say tú eres if you want to, but you can also just say eres if you would like to. With usted, because it is more respectful, you're more likely to say usted. if you want to. So if you want to say you are a student and show respect, you say usted es estudiante. You don't have to say usted, however, you probably will, just because it's a little bit more formal. We're going to do a little bit of practice over the conjugations of ser with your subject pronouns. And write this down on the piece of paper that you have been using. And don't forget that you will be turning this in. So, I'm going to give you a short sentence in English, and I want you to write it down in Spanish. You might need to pause your video, and then I'll give you the answer. So the first one is, you are just being casual. Okay? You are being casual would be tú eres. Next one would be, we are. We would be nosotros, and are would be somos. Remember again that with both of these you don't have to use the tú or the nosotros, although it's not a bad idea. Next one would be, he is. So he would be L, make sure you get that accent, and then S. They are. They would be ellos. Are would be son. I am. I am is yo soy. You, showing respect, you are. Okay, you are is going to be usted es. All of you are. All of you would be ustedes, and then are would be son. She is. She is would be ella es. Quick review. I is yo. Am would be soy. You, showing just casualness, would be tú. Are would be eres. He is él. She is ella. You would be usted. So he is would be usted. I'm sorry, ls. She is would be ella s, and you are would be usted s. We is nosotros, and are would be somos. We are nosotros somos. They, being a group of guys, would be ellos. Son. They, being a group of just girls, would be ellas son. All of you are would be ustedes son. So at this point, take the paper that you have been practicing things on. I want you to take a picture of that, turn that into Moodle, and your homework is done. Make sure that you know the conjugations. Soy, eres, es, somos, son. So the conjugations of ser. Make sure that you have those memorized by tomorrow. And I also want you to have the subject pronouns memorized by tomorrow. So if I say he, you would know to write down L. If I said all of you, you would write down ustedes. If I said he is, you would write down L, S. Alright, study that, and there will be a quiz tomorrow.